Calling all units, calling all units. Donut Shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Coffee and Donuts, Donut Shop Podcast. Thanks for being here on a Sunday morning with me. And I was just queuing up the Instagram because it's also over on Instagram showing me in a vertical video. What do you think of this? I don't know. I trim it. I clean it up and then lets it grow. But we were talking about it on open mic on Friday. I don't know. It's there. Trying to do my thing. Can't really do it. It's genetics in me. Can't really grow much of the facial hair. So let's just checking out all this. I was watching the Olympics, so I'm a little tied up. Olympics are fun. I hope everybody's been enjoying the Olympics. It's a good break from listening to some of the news and stuff like that. You don't have to pay attention so much to the news because there's pretty much 24/7 coverage, or there's stuff that I haven't seen, so I can go over to like the Peacock app and I can watch an actual sport or something going on instead of paying attention to the news, which has been a little bit of a nice break. I miss the regular hockey season being on. That's a bummer because normally the hockey season would be going on right now for NHL, but it's on pause because there's a lot of NHL players that are over in the Olympics, which it's cool and it's good for them, but I don't necessarily like it. I would prefer to see more of our amateurs, like our college players and our not our lower division players, but basically, like, I'd like to see the best all-stars from college playing in the Olympics. That'd be me, but it, but yeah, the Olympics have been cool to watch and fun. There's something that they've added into the Olympics, because if you're not paying attention to this, you may not notice it. But what happens is the Olympics themselves produce the video and then they feed it out to companies like in America, we watch it on NBC. They feed them. So NBC really has nothing to do with the actual footage that goes out from each of the matches or the different events. It's coming from the Olympics. So if you're in another country, your version of NBC is showing the style of broadcast that the Olympics are putting out. One of the things they've added is FPV drones, or first person video drones, the guys that freaking wear goggles and they fly the drones. And yeah, it's a cool shot. It's cool to see, when the skier or the person on the luge is going 70 miles an hour and the drone's able to keep up with it, and you're not doing like quick changes between spots on the course, kind of making the viewer dizzy, but they don't kill the audio. I know drones have a noise and it's a thing, but they don't pipe in different audio. They go right from the audio of the drone showing the video, and it just, I don't know. It kills me. Like I can't. Supposedly, I've read that the athletes are like, yo, we don't even hear it because they've either got helmets on or they're so zoned in. They're dealing with it. We're, as viewers, used to just listening to the commentators speaking about it and talking. But for me, it really picks up and it bothers me. But I'm a drone pilot, so I kind of notice it. So that, that's the one thing. And I saw on a few events they've figured something out, or they've kind of like figured out how to make it so it's muted and it doesn't pop up as much. But then on other events, it's loud and proud and it's there. So that's me. Like I've commented on a few Facebook posts that I saw that were like, international Facebook posts or whatever. And then I even shared it on my Facebook, and some friends of mine are like, fuck, dude, now I can't not see that or not hear it. They were like, I didn't notice it before, but now, cause you talk shit about it, now it's all I can hear. And I was like, you're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. And now you feel my pain. So what's up, Jerry? Good morning. I'm assuming back in the Tennessee after hopefully a successful, I don't want to put all your business out there, successful trip to South Florida to do some real estate shopping and possibly move back to South Florida. But chimes in that that's what happens when you retire and you grow a beard. For some of us, Jerry, at the tail end of my career, just kind of post 2020, um, uh, many agencies started allowing beards. Um, for anybody that doesn't know, law enforcement for many years was very much or is paramilitary. They take a lot of notes from the military, and they don't allow. They want you to be clean shaven. Um, so I'm a little old school with that, where I appreciate that, or I want our officers clean shaven, because if you're somebody like me and you grow just like a dirty beard, it I don't think it looks professional, especially as many of you may know, big on honor guard and stuff. And I don't think beards should be on honor guard. But that's me. That's me. That's a old school mentality, or a like a older military style mentality, for having your facial hair clean as a male, and a clean haircut, all that kind of stuff. That's me. Um, Granted, some of the beards, they look stylish now and they look good, and I get it, and it's cool, and it sort of breaks people away from the old style of policing, and it gives a little bit to the younger generations. So I get it. It was basically a an olive branch from uh, administration. It came from, like, in my agency, we had a chief that was a Marine, so he was very much against it. He was probably in the same mentality as I was. So he was always against it. So then when we changed chiefs, the new chief brought it in, and he did that. He kind of threw that olive branch out to the officers, mostly because he wanted to grow one himself. So that was, it was a slightly self-serving, but also trying to give the officers a bit of a morale boost coming out of um, COVID and the dark times of whatever, in policing. Shit, we were watching the show The Pit last night. It's an awesome show. It's on HBO. It's basically one shift in the emergency room of one of the Pittsburgh trauma hospitals. And they consistently, like, the older nurses, when they talk about when they're like training the younger ones, they consistently bring up COVID, which, as any of us know, I don't think there's anybody younger than COVID too watching my show. But as we know, the hospitals were a crazy freaking time, like triple masks, face shields, full gowns, all kinds of stuff. So I do not envy my friends that worked in hospitals and stuff. And it was a crazy time. What's Jerry got? We're back on facial hair. Jerry says sheriff's office did not allow facial hair except mustaches until Tony. So yeah, you're gonna get it. It's happening across the board, or across the Tri-County area, at least for us in South Florida. But as you get newer bosses in, newer sheriffs, newer police chiefs, if your agency doesn't have it, they're most likely going to move to it. And for right now, it's just in law enforcement, and it's always, well, they do it, they do it, they do it. So there's, once they all start to fall, then they're all going to do it. So it is what it is. It's fine, as long as guys keep it, and I can say guys and not even worry about that, as long as guys keep it clean and managed. um, you know it, it is what it is. Some of the officers think that they're special forces, Delta Force guys, and they want to be, giant beards, as if they were, uh, you know, undercover or something like that. not the case. Not the case. All right. Well, we'll move into like this week. I had some stuff get moved around, but is gonna be packed. Women are yes, Juliet. Women are allowed to work, but we might need to check some hormones or whatever if they're growing beards. Um, uh, so that's that's why I'm saying I'm pretty confident that I can just talk to the guys when I'm talking beards. But this week, since I've had what do we got? I've had last week I didn't have an episode. Sorry, womp womp. This week I've got nothing coming out on Tuesday. Womp womp. But I got 2 episodes that I'm recording on Monday, and then another episode on Tuesday. So I've got out of those 3, I have 2 in-person ones. So I'll be over at Duncan doing some in-person recordings, and then the one Monday night is a StreamYard recording. So Monday night is just kind of like a reciprocated bounce back. I was on these guys' podcast. They're called uh, Suck It Up Man. So basically, telling guys to dust it off, or at least the phrase to dust it off, suck it up and move on. But it's not necessarily that. But they do talk a lot about mental health. We talked about, like when I was on there, we talked about mental health and law enforcement, and and first responders in general with mental health. We talked about mine. So it was a pretty cool episode, but they are both professional poker players. I met them down here in Miami running a 5K. They were wearing the suits from Dumb and Dumber, the like kind of powder blue and orange um, uh, tuxedos. And so I went up to him to take a picture, started talking, and so I was on their podcast. They're out of California and Michigan, and they do a streaming style like this. But I'm gonna record it Monday night, and then I'll have it out for drop. I'll have it out for drop in a little bit, because like the next couple weeks are boom 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 boom, because I had blasted out a bunch of people emails to and contacts, and I was feeling kind of like, oh man, nobody's getting back to me. This is frustrating, this is scary. But boom, like everybody started hitting me back up like, oh, I'll take this day, I'll take this day, and I was like, oh crap, all right, here we go. So yeah, I've got those 3 um coming up. So those will start popping out on Tuesdays, and I'll hang on to them. So I definitely have the next like month or so going to be covered, because in that time I'm also going to be recording additional episodes, going up to Anti-Heroes Studios on Thursday next week, and I'm going to record a couple episodes. I'm kind of go crazy, and there will be basically, I think, like 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 podcasts done that day. Not all for myself, but a lot of talking. I am probably going to be exhausted from all the talking. Um, so that was that's that. So I'm looking forward to it. And then this I was supposed to this Friday. I also produce podcasts. So with my gear, it's just Donut Shop. It's not Donut Shop Podcast. It's going to be for somebody else. So I've done one before for Michael Morgan from Resilient Warrior Nation podcast. He brings me out to record his podcast. He's going to try and do it like once a month for me, just kind of switching up, because sometimes he does these type of podcasts like this, and then sometimes he does in person. We were supposed to film on Friday, but his guest had to move it, so we moved it to next Monday. So more busy weeks, but hey, I'm retired, I got plenty of time, right? But looking at my calendar, I definitely don't have plenty of time. So that will be a good plenty of content coming up. So appreciate everybody for sticking around for that. But yeah, all right. So in the comments, Jerry has what's the story with Nick on open mic and his girlfriend in prison. Is that legit? I don't know. You may just have to stick around for next week. There may be a follow up for next week's open mic. So I will tease next week's open mic and say, pay attention. so yeah, if anybody that watches this doesn't know, we have a show that Counterculture Inc. does. A couple podcasters from Counterculture Inc. We get together and do one called Open Mic. It's supposed to be sort of just almost like a business meeting about counterculture. But Tyler, Mike, and myself, we're not. It's not Mike. Sorry, Tyler, Nick, and myself are really starting to like get a groove going and having fun with the show. I've got to figure out how to really sprinkle in some other members of Counterculture so that we can show off everybody's show and talk about everything. But we're really kind of finding our stride with open mic. It's a good time. Nick is a amazing personality for it, and he has a good time. And Tyler and I just kind of sit back and watch. But yeah, I know Juliet loves the show. Prison Love, yikes. But yes. So if you don't know what happened Friday, go to open mic CC underscores between the words, open underscore mic underscore CC for open mic counterculture. That's on Instagram. That is our did I say you were old? I didn't mean old. That's our Instagram channel, plus it's on the Counterculture Inc. The whole show is on Counterculture Inc.'s YouTube channel, so you can watch it. It's a counterculture show. You can watch it there, and there's also a reel there, or there's a reel on Instagram. And basically Nick found a woman that's in prison, kind of like a pen pal type thing. So, but you know how adults are these days and with phones and social media and stuff like that. So it becomes a little more racy. So Nick may have found his next love, and she's in prison in Idaho. So go ahead and check out the reel for that. It's a good time. I won't. I mean, I probably could pull it up here, but yeah. I mean, open mic kind of gets a little PG-13. Yeah, we won't call it adult, but PG-13. Not for children, and maybe not safe for work. But it's a good time, and we're getting a good crowd in there now to chat and stuff. So it's a fun show. So I'm trying to like shuffle around our shows, because we have some shows that are sort of housed or supported by, like, Donut Shop Podcast is an independent show, member of Counterculture, but it's an independent show. Like, it's its own show. Counterculture doesn't really do any production for it or anything. So this is my own show. But Open Mic is a show produced by Counterculture, so it's housed under Counterculture. So trying to move some stuff around, really just to bring eyeballs to some of the smaller shows, because they all have their content value in the sphere of first responders and life and veterans. But like Heather's show, Tyler's wife Heather, Unfiltered and Unfazed. They've got some good topics that they talk about that aren't necessarily like first responder based and stuff. They're life based, or they're pop culture based. So they're going to talk about that kind of stuff. So that's a show on YouTube that's housed under Counterculture, because it's already a built up. Counterculture is already a built up YouTube channel. So if you're going to start a brand new show, it's easier to put it under there, because there's subscribers, all that kind of stuff on it. So the subscribers end up seeing it. If they don't like a show, they just don't have to watch it, but they already know about it, and the monetization's already set up. So you don't already have to build a new YouTube platform. Like, it's tough to get YouTube monetized. Nick Perez and I did it back in the day with Donut Shop Podcast, but that was largely built on his already built-in following from his personal channel that built up Donut Shop Podcast. So, it's one of the ways that I can be kind of on my own as far as that podcast is set up on YouTube. The Spotify and Apple and all that kind of stuff, that's a whole nother beast. Yeah, Nick's room's great. His podcast room, or I think it's his basement, has 1970s wood paneling for sure. And then Tyler also sent him a care package with some gear to help him out with his podcast setup. Like maybe, I don't know if he sent him a light and like a tripod so that his phone or his camera can be set up properly so that it shows him better and it's not like a upshot. Mine is actually like my eyes are going here, so it's actually set up above me, angled down. Gives you a nicer, flattering under chin look. Cleans up the under chin. But yeah, so that's that's kind of what's going on for the upcoming. And then we are definitely working on our kind of presentation and the logistics on what we're going to do in April to get up to the training conference for Kenny's Training X conference. Oh, wait a minute. I've moved past, but I need to talk about my other guests coming up. So Monday, the other guest, I talked about the guys that I'm interviewing at night, but the guests that I'm interviewing during the day, I went to high school with him. He graduated a year behind me in 2001. He's a friend, Jesse Gossman. Out of high school, we were in JROTC together. Out of high school, he went into the National Guard, went to Iraq. Did college when he got back, stayed National Guard, and then started working as a police officer. He started in like 07. So he started 2 years after me, but he started working for Fort Lauderdale, doing the same thing, patrol, all that. He ended up he's got a couple other, side roles within the police department that he did, but ultimately worked his way into the detective division and started investigating fraud and financial crimes, and then really started honing in on like Bitcoin and cryptocurrency fraud. And it's City Fort Lauderdale, so it's a bigger agency, so you probably see a lot more of it, and there's a lot more money getting thrown around in Fort Lauderdale. And he got his master's degree in that, and so in forensic accounting, and then it kind of grew a company because he started consulting with other police agencies about that, and working on other cases as well. And he retired in December, right around the time that I just retired, and now he's running his company full time. He has his fraud, cryptocurrency, teaching and investigations company. And so I was like, dude, like, got to get you on, man. Like, we got to talk about this stuff because I know nothing about all that, and happy to hear it. And I think people will find it interesting, and perhaps we'll find some maybe some prevention techniques, ways to protect yourself if you're in that crypto realm. So I'm excited to talk to him, maybe talk a little bit about his time in Iraq, how leadership sort of differs, because he was a squad leader in Iraq, and then he goes to being a patrolman police officer back in the civilian world. So how leadership kind of differentiates from military to law enforcement, and then during his career in the military. He also, because he got his master's, and he ended up going and becoming an officer in the Army as well during his time as a police officer. So very, broad array of things to talk about with Jesse. So I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully we can get started right away, because I feel like it might be a long one. And So that one will be good on Monday. And then Tuesday, I have a or a coach trainer that I met when I started working out at F45. Her name's Jody. And, you know, crazy personality, but she was always a good coach at F45. Then that studio closed and she moved over to actually the studio that I started working out at now. And, but she had been in a car accident, so she was injured, so she couldn't necessarily keep up with the workouts and stuff. So she didn't really like pan out with working at the new studio. Because the F45 that I've been working out at for 2 years now, it's like boom, 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 keep going. So she, sorry, lost train of thought. So she's training on her own and stuff. So I'm going to kind of catch up with her, see what she's doing today. And then she says she's got a story about her brother who had died, allegedly committing suicide. But there's an interesting twist to it, or a freaky twist to it, that she doesn't necessarily feel that he committed suicide, that he may have been murdered or killed. So we'll dig into that. I don't know if that's really going to be considered a true crime podcast. Hopefully she's got some research to it, because I know I sure as hell don't. But we'll see where her story goes and kind of what she has about that. So that's on Tuesday. So I'll roll through all that stuff and we'll see where those go. So that's a diverse array of podcasts just recording this week, and we'll see where that goes. Plus my work with Michael Morgan. He's recording with a Navy SEAL. He's already done a podcast with him. So we'll see kind of where they take that Navy SEAL conversation, or that resiliency conversation. But things are good. So Lupe actually is joining me for an F45 workout. She does she has ClassPass, which is a general workout company that gets you access into different types of gyms, like a Pilates gym or a yoga studio, or group fitness classes like F45. So she's doing that, or she has that right now. And I was like, yo, why don't you come with me today? So she's coming with me today to work out and use some of her credits. So we'll work out. So it's kind of full circle. She brought me to this F45 studio because she had been working out there longer than I was. And then she left or quit it. And then now I'm bringing her back. So little full circle moment. All right. Well, I'll probably get wrapping it up. For those of you that haven't or need them, Donut Shop podcast hats are back in stock. I got a fresh order of the hats. Same style, everything's the same, but they're back. So I have them on my website, along with other shirts or other swag. Or if you have idea for swag, it's pretty easy to make it through the company that I use. So if you have ideas, let me know, and I can get it put up on the website. But other than that, I've got shirts, hats, koozies, blankets. I have blankets, and stuff like that. So hope you guys are drinking coffee. Have a great Sunday, and we'll see you next. Well, we'll see Friday on open mic, and then next Sunday for coffee and donuts, and then we'll be back to our regularly scheduled program on Tuesday drops. So lots of stuff coming up in the future. So have a great Sunday, everybody, and we'll see you later.
Calling all units. Donut Shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.